What's up, YouTube? This is CJ.
And Sarah.
It's a Wednesday, and that means it's time for another Keto
Conversations.
So let's get this started. So this week we are talking about keto, of course.
Hey.
But we're also talking about why sometimes some of us might be doing keto and it feels just like it's another
diet. D word. Yeah, diet. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know the D word was bad. Anyway, keto feels like it's just another diet. And we want to talk about some of the reasons that you might be feeling that, but then also talk about
what you can do about it.
What you can do about that
to change it.
Yeah, and it's easy to, especially if you've been dieting off and on with all different types of diets for your a good part of your life. It's easy to bring some of that baggage or dogma into even to keto. Yeah. Every once we get comments from people, and people are doing keto all kinds of different ways.
Yes.
And we have always said we're not the keto police.
No.
But people are doing keto and eating all kinds of stuff on keto.
That maybe the keto police would say is keto.
Oh yeah, the keto police will come in. The keto police will come and get y'all and take you away. But we're not the keto police.
Whatever works for you.
You do whatever works for you, because you got to make keto work for you and for your lifestyle.
Right.
But there is a tendency, and I know I'm guilty of this, that it's easy to bring in some of stuff from other diets, from other things.
It's a mindset that
you've learned.
Well, and we're still living in a period of time where there's lots of magazine articles and news articles calling this a diet, calling it a fad.
Oh, sure.
Sometimes it's hard to remember that they're not coming from the same place that we are when we talk about keto. So
yeah, because we live keto as a lifestyle,
right?
And that's what we preach. That's how we live every day. We go on a vacation. Keto is just what we do.
There.
It doesn't change because we are, not on camera.
Right.
It is how we live every day.
We don't personally take breaks from keto.
We don't take breaks.
Or, go on vacation and not do keto.
Yeah.
That's not how we roll. No judgment for y'all.
Yeah, if that's
not what we do.
How you want to roll and what you want to do, that's fine. But we want to talk about 4 reasons or 4 things people have a tendency to do that might make it feel like a
more
diet.
Restrictive. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can go ahead and start with number 1.
So the first reason is you obsess about calories and macros. Now, before we get a bunch of comments, I'm not a tracker. It's totally fine. CJ is.
I am a tracker, so that's
great.
So actually,
I am not saying don't track your calories or your macros. That's not what this is about. What I'm talking about is the idea that some chart or calculator holds all the cards. It's fine. They have their place temporarily or even as a check-in.
Yeah.
Changing things up, seeing how you're doing, maybe if you've hit a stall or a plateau or things aren't going as well as you would like. Checking in with those kind of things is different than being a slave to those things. Right. And that is what we're trying to get away from so that it doesn't feel like a diet. Once you learn this way of life and you learn when you're hungry and when you're not hungry and what things make you feel good and what things don't make you feel good, then you can still use those as a guideline, but it should never be, well, I'm not going to have another piece of bacon because it's too many calories or it's not in my macros or whatever. I mean,
yeah,
you kind of need to loosen up a little bit.
And as Sarah said, I am a tracker. I've been a tracker way before keto, and it's easy to kind of get into that. We've on our own channel talked about keto calculators and then told people to go to it. But again, look at a keto calculator. There's a lot of good ones out there as a way to maybe when you're just starting keto to get an ideal because the whole idea is to figure out what you can eat.
And help you decide what you want your goals to be.
And how much you can eat. But then at some point, it's safe. It is safe to leave the keto calculators alone. One of the things that this article brought up that I keep struggling with is just knowing when to eat.
Well, it's hard because, like what we've talked about before, your satiety cues and all the things that you've always used to tell yourself you're full. And sometimes, you know, if you have been following a program for a long time that has you on a calculator or has you on a point system or has you on something like that, it tells you when you're done. Yeah. And so you've never learned to say, I'm done, because you're full.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it takes a while.
Or people have some people, you might not, the problem might not be that you don't know when you're done, but the problem might be that you don't even need to be eating because you're not even really hungry.
Exactly.
And I struggle, I still have to work on that. Eating out of habit, eating because it's lunchtime.
Feels good, it tastes good, it's there.
Exactly, yeah. I'm bored.
I have it with me. You know, a lot of us growing up in, you know, a certain generation, it was you cleaned your plate. And so if the food is still there, I was one of those in my household, you cleaned your plate. So you don't leave anything behind.
You don't leave anything.
That can trickle over into middle age.
Yeah, and so, again, you know, you may be obsessing over macros and calories, and they do have their place, but you don't need to obsess over it with keto, because if you can figure out how to eat when you're hungry to fuel your body, that's a big
It's going to feel a lot less like a diet, more like a way of life.
A lot less like a diet.
And the second point is also about calories in, calories out, the calorie counting. And the point behind this one is that you don't really want to be consuming the same amount of calories every day. So if you've put yourself on this calorie restriction or calories in, calories out, and you're like, I'm going to eat 1,200 calories every single day, your body like we've discussed before, likes homeostasis. It's like, okay, we're going to do this all the time. Well, I'm going to keep you right here where we are.
It will adjust.
And you definitely don't want that.
And that's interesting, because that sounds good about the calories and just finding a set point with calories. But if you think about it from that perspective, that, actually you do need variations in your calories, because your body will adjust, and then it'll start taking steps.
Well, and it's hard not to have that fear.
Yeah.
But, you know, when we're talking about, okay, say you've given yourself this 1,200 calorie thing. So maybe on a Wednesday you're extra hungry and you eat, you know, an extra, like I said, a piece of bacon, or you have an extra bulletproof coffee or whatever. We're not talking like you're going 1,000 calories over what you're used to eating. We're talking about you're a little bit hungrier, so you eat a little bit more. Yeah. But the next day, you might eat one less meal because you're not hungry. So that's why, instead of the calorie counting, it does have to start becoming intuitive, so that it doesn't feel like
I will say, as a person who has been a calorie counter, and even a person who uses different apps, you know, MyFitnessPal being one, you know, I know it used to work, and I haven't paid attention to this a lot lately, but whereas, you know, you had a certain bucket of calories for the day, and if you went over, then it kind of deducted from the bucket for tomorrow, where you had fewer, so it kind of kept you in that range. But you still could go over, or under, but it would adjust, the program would adjust. And to be honest, I haven't really been paying attention if that works that way or not. But still, the whole calories in, or counting calories, being obsessed with them, with keto, you really don't need to do that. No. You don't need to do that.
Because you don't really want to be eating past the point of satiety, because then your body's not learning when you're full.
It comes back to the whole thing of eat when you're hungry, and stop eating when you're full. And
and you also don't want to eat too few calories, because then you're practicing calorie restriction, and that can be a problem also.
So and I know, and as we talk about this, like I said, even as I was reading this article, it's like, oh, okay, well, you know, it's easy to fall into this, and it's easy to do this, just because it's kind of how
it's always been.
It's how it's always been, and so we get it. It's no judgment. It's just. I mean, stuff. Again, like I keep saying, I still deal with some of these things.
Still have those feelings.
Yeah, I still deal with some of these things even as today. So next one is fantasizing about food.
Yes.
Fantasizing about.
So that's when we obsess or are constantly thinking about the foods that we used to eat. Yeah. This is not talking about, you know, you're thinking about having bacon or something yummy that's keto. Yeah. This is talking about your bemoaning the fact that you're not having a donut on Tuesday like you used to.
You're longing for the good old days that got you where you are right now.
Right.
Believe me, I've been there.
But if you keep operating in that deprivation mode, then it becomes an obsession, because that's all you're thinking about is those foods. And let's face it, if those foods did you any kind of good, you wouldn't be where you're at right now with either being overweight or sick or diabetes or whatever is wrong.
Those things contributed to where you are today, right to the point you are today. So
we're not trying to tell you that those foods no longer taste good. They probably do.
Oh, yeah.
But if you can try and remember how you felt when you eat those foods. And there are people out there who do take breaks from keto, or they have a birthday or whatever happens, and they go back to eating a specific food. And most of them will tell you it wasn't great. Yeah. It might have tasted the same, but the way you feel afterwards is completely different.
It's a different, your relationship with it, your feelings about it
quite not as worth it as you might think.
I every once in a while my daughter will have a French fry, and I might get a little piece of it, and when I taste it, it doesn't taste like anything. And it used to taste like the most awesome thing in the world. Yeah. It ain't tasting like anything now. And so,
honestly, that's part of the reason that keeps me from ever wanting to, get off of keto and eat something that I used to eat several years ago, is that dread of feeling yucky. Because I just feel like, what would that feel like if I had the flu or a horrible stomach ache or something like that? I don't want that.
And I had an incident, for a lot of folks who haven't watched our channel, I had an incident where I actually had eaten some what I thought was safe,
unbeknownst to you,
baked chicken from a deli. Only to find out later that it had been coated in
a flour
thing, and I felt terrible. I mean, I was sick. Several hours after I ate the food, and I never want to feel that way again. So, and again, this is part of one of the things about our channel and why we do what we do with the recipes is, again, to show people that there are alternatives.
Right. If you've been really missing something.
Yeah, there are alternatives. The bagels we made last past Sunday. You know what? They don't taste exactly like other bagels. I don't want to say.
But if you're missing a bread-like product, this can feel a need for you. Or desserts. Some of the desserts we've made. If you have a special occasion, a birthday, or someone else's birthday, they do feel a need. It's not that you're going to spend the rest of your life without having things that you used to like.
I guess one of the things with the channel is that we try to show people that there are options. Right. Yes. Is it different? Yes.
Yes. Should you be eating those foods daily? Not necessarily.
That's true. No, you shouldn't be eating the foods daily. I mean, so we made the keto bagels. We made the first batch, and then we made another batch where we split the thing.
We made them a little smaller.
We made them smaller, and you know what? They were good, but I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with them.
It's one of those things that would be good to freeze if you have a bread need or a bread wish or something.
And don't get me wrong, they're good. I had one today, but after today I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with bagels. I'm done with almond flour bagels or whatever.
If you've been on this way of life for a significant amount of time, I find that the longer you've been on it, the easier it becomes to be like, well, I don't really miss X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So, sometimes that can happen where you're just like, well, bread's really not.
Yeah,
I'm not excited about it.
I don't know. We put the recipes on the blog, and I think in the blog post I wrote that I really don't miss bread. I haven't missed bread. We just talking about bread because we just did a bread type recipe, but I don't really miss bread.
But both he and I were taking the buns off our burgers long before we
were taking the buns.
To save calories.
Yes, I was taking the buns off my burger because it was just a waste of calories.
Right. It's like 100 calories for something that doesn't even matter.
Just to hold a piece of meat. And so, and even my daughter, who is not doing keto, was doing that.
My kids are the same way. Mama, can I just eat the meat? And
so again, the food, fantasizing about food and looking back, that can be difficult and make keto difficult for you. And so
it can make it seem more restrictive than it is.
Than it is.
Because, as far as diets go, the ketogenic diet allows you to have a lot of foods that other diets don't. The full fat products.
Exactly. Won't even come close to.
So you're not going to feel that feeling of satiation and appreciation if you're continuing to obsess about the foods you used to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's just just something to keep in mind. Again, we do these keto conversations. We don't know who's going to speak to,
right?
But somebody out there is probably dealing with some of this. And
Yes.
then our last point has to do with excessive exercise.
Yes.
I am a person who, I like to exercise. I've always liked lifting weights. I like exercising just to exercise. I did use exercising and weightlifting as a part of a program to lose a bunch of weight previously.
Well, and that's what this particular point is addressing, is that exercise is great if it makes you feel good.
Yes.
If that's the reason you're doing it, because it contributes very little to your overall success on keto.
We got, well, actually, even both those really, but you haven't really exercised at all on
I
keto.
exercised very little when I first started, well over 2 years ago.
Yeah, you did something, but not consistently.
And I did that exercise because it did make me feel good, and I'm not opposed to going back and doing that again, but I wasn't doing like hardcore cardio and massive weightlifting or anything like that. I've done that in years past, and I have enjoyed it at times, and that is the focus. If you're enjoying it, if you like it, if it's something you've always done and you want to stay with that routine and it makes you feel good, then keep doing it.
But keto will work without you exercising.
Right.
So that's something to keep in mind.
But you shouldn't look at exercise as a punishment. Oh, I ate, an extra patty on my bunless burger with avocado, and I'm going to punish myself by trying to remove this, burn it, if you will,
that's true.
from my body.
That's true.
You have to make sure that that's not the mindset that you're doing.
That is a mindset that I've had in the past. You eat this, and in fact, there's all kinds of articles about, you eat this donut, you're going to have to run for 5 hours.
It's not a punishment to burn away your badness. That's not.
And that's not what you need to do on the keto lifestyle. No. And if you do, it is okay to exercise.
Yes.
If you can,
we're not saying don't exercise.
If you can exercise and physically do it, there's a lot of people who do keto. There's a lot of YouTubers who do keto. And they're bodybuilders, they're in all kinds
there's lots of other benefits.
And they see the benefits of doing keto and those exercise programs. Right. And so again, we're not saying that exercise isn't something that you should do. We're saying you don't have to, and you also don't need to be
and it's more about exactly. It's more on the way you're viewing it, I guess, is what we're talking about. Right. Is it's not a punishment. It's not to burn away something bad that you've done. It's if you enjoy it, if it's a stress release, if it's something that you've always liked, then continue to do that. But don't take up exercising because you feel like it's going to somehow contribute overall to your success on the ketogenic diet lifestyle.
And I think, it's important to, and maybe this is a bonus point, is to, as you're doing keto, is to kind of repair your relationship with food.
I think that's one of the biggest, we've talked about that. In the other reasons why keto is good. But
because again, a lot of us we've done diets for a while. The whole weight loss thing or the weight problem thing has not anything new. Right. And now we found keto, and this thing actually works. Right. But still, I know I still have to deal with my relationship with food. The whole thing about eating when I'm hungry versus just eating because it's time to eat, or I'm bored and I feel snacky. We've got
when you start watching TV.
We've got a child here who will just she will go to the pantry and stand there and open it up, and she's just looking for some carby thing to eat.
Or you take your kids out to eat, and you get home, and as soon as you walk through the door, they're hungry, and you're like, we just ate like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, we know. We know kids grow and they burn stuff. We know that. We get that.
But sometimes it's just
that's
what you do.
Right, you're eating because it's just what you do, and I know I still do that. And so I think part of the message is that just work on your relationship with food, how you see food, and how you relate to food and with your body. Because really, if you think about it, food is really just to fuel your body. Yes. I mean, in its basic form is to fuel your body. Right. Yes, it's okay to enjoy food. Yes,
sometimes
it's okay.
We have a lot of emotion tied in food.
Yes, we do. But really, basically, it's to fuel your body so you can continue to live and do that. And then so if you really look at it from that standpoint, that really basic level, it's kind of like, well, maybe I don't need all this other stuff that I'm eating, even and that can even be on doing keto. So anyway, that is this week's Keto Conversation. We hope that this has spoken to somebody, and we'd love to hear your thoughts about this topic. So leave us some comments about it and tell us some of your thoughts. And by the way, we have a new camera, and for the past couple of weeks we've been trying to do 2 cameras, like one above, one up here, one down here. Yeah, and then when CJ goes to edit, I'm spastically looking off. Yeah, she's looking up in the air, and I'm looking over here. So we have one camera tonight, and we're both practicing looking directly at that camera. So anyway, I don't know why I told you that, but we did. And so we appreciate you being here. If you're new and just stumbled upon this channel, this is our Keto Conversation segment that we do every Wednesday. And you know what? There's something we forgot to talk about. Okay. We just went over 10,000 subscribers. Woohoo! And we have to say thank you to all of our subscribers, because we didn't do anything except make videos, and people watched them and decided to subscribe. And so we wanted to say thank you for that. We've got some things planned that we're trying to work on to kind of celebrate that. Some kind of giveaway, but we've got to figure out how to do it. Because we've never been at this amount of subscribers. Yeah, we've never been at this amount of subscribers. It's new for us too. It's new territory, and by the time we figure out how to do it, we will have moved into some other parts of the 10,000s. And so we wanted to say thank you to everybody who's, all of our subscribers, old or new. Thank you for subscribing. We appreciate you being here, because we really do this because we try to help people be successful on keto. We don't do this because we don't have anything to do. We got plenty of stuff to do. We got a full schedule this week with parent-teacher conferences, doctor's appointments, me picking up my daughter. We got a full schedule. So we do this because we really do want, keto has changed our life, and we really want to help you change your life if that's what you want it to do. So we appreciate you being here, and we hope to see you next week. Consider subscribing, and have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye. Peace.